ready. Let's get it on.
Coming to you live from the Walmart, where Lex Luger says he finally learned to understand and appreciate wrestling fans. Is that a compliment? Greetings to all the people of Walmart listening today. It's Jim Valley and it's Wrestling Observer Live, where I've locked things away behind plexiglass doors so you can't steal anything. Live 7 days a week, Monday through Friday, 3 p.m. Eastern, noon Pacific. Sundays, 6 p.m. Eastern, 3 Pacific. And here on Saturdays, 1 p.m. Eastern, 10 a.m. Pacific. It's Jim Valley.
That's the most exciting type of valley.
The effing king of recovery.
I don't want to toot my own horn, but toot.
Back because of the fans.
Each and every one of you. The largest collection of STD having trailer park trash The Rock has ever seen.
You all fat, neck-bearded, mouth-breathing trolls.
They don't have adrenaline in their soul. All you do is be hurtful. All you are is abusive. And all you've ever done is bully me into being your damn puppet and expected me to do it with a smile on my face.
That was a go-home SmackDown for Wrestlemania. Okay. Anyway, also an emotional road to Dontaku at Cork and Hall overnight. The WWE Hall of Fame started at 10 p.m. Pacific, 1 a.m. Eastern Time, and only Triple H could make a joke at 2 a.m. Eastern about Mr. T going long in his speech, and then talk for another hour. Oh, by the way, also, Triple H and John Cena love Vince, while Triple H and Roman Reigns love Trump. If WWE strategies for PR got any worse, get ready for Stephanie McMahon to go into space with Katy Perry. We got Stand and Deliver happening and a ton of stuff. Stand by. Jim Valley, Wrestling Observer Live.
You're clear. Oh yeah, not a great week for PR for the company. That's
Not at all.
I mean, also, I didn't even see where the hell was it where they're like, oh, Reigns is just comes out supporting Trump.
It was weird because he's like, I'm a Democrat. I was like, okay, it's odd.
What platform was this on though? Like
It was Vanity.
I couldn't find like an actual clip of it. I just saw a bunch of
It's Vanity Fair.
the like article where he was like taking the pictures and
Yeah.
okay. So bizarre. Like also just why even bring it up?
I don't know. It feels like, I don't know. I mean, I don't know. Whatever.
Well, it's just I don't know. Just feels bizarre or
Yeah.
odd or like
I mean,
contrived, I guess.
it's weird because it's like, even if you like him or not, the honeymoon is over. And it's like,
Well, and also just why are you talking about it? I don't
yeah, exactly.
like I don't it the only thing that can do there's no benefit to mentioning that
Right.
for you or for the business.
Yeah,
So
goes,
what's the
"Who cares?"
point of doing it, I guess? Is like my bigger question. Unless you just are like maybe he's unhappy with the company or the business in general and he's just like I don't give a fuck.
Well,
I mean I don't know, you know.
I mean, Linda's close to him. You know, Vince, I think, was close to him. I don't know.
Well, but just I don't know, it was just confusing to me. I didn't understand.
Seems unnecessary. But okay.
Yeah, well, it just like to talk about it in general. I don't understand why are you mentioning it or Like, was he asked the question or did he bring it up?
Maybe he
Because
was, yeah. I think he was.
you know,
All right. We started. Okay.
all right, 30 seconds. Here.
All right.
1097. That's 800-887-1097.
You're listening to Wrestling Observer Live on the Sports Byline Broadcasting Network.
Mr. Valley, Wrestling Observer Live. Sorry the voice is a little raspy today. I got the procedure, as you know, and it's still healing and doing whatever it's gonna do. I'm a little frustrated, but it is what it is. Happy WrestleMania weekend, and also I'm told tomorrow is Easter. Anyway, it's pretty important, but back to WrestleMania. NXT Stand and Deliver. Quickly, here is a spoiler for the open. Gigi Dolan and Tatum Paxley defeated Fatal Influence, Metaphor, and Cora Jade and Roxanne Perez. So they will get a shot at the WWE Women's Championship coming up. So that's what's happening at Stand and Deliver this morning. See some people. Are there people who are in Las Vegas in the chat right now? Is that what I have? Someone was saying how Natty Neidhart did an awesome job at Bloodsport. Yeah, that looked good from what I saw. I really liked that she was Natty Neidhart, not Natalia. I think that's a smart thing to do for WWE talent when they're outside of working WWE to adapt to their environment. SmackDown last night, not a great show. Not a great go-home show. This whole thing has been very uninspired. We'll talk about that later. There was one very serious development. Rey Mysterio appeared to have gotten injured in the six-man tag with Rey Fenix and Dragon Lee with Chad Gable in the Creeds. He was helped to the back. And here's the latest from Brian Alvarez. He wrote that there's no word on Rey Mysterio, but Dragon Lee, he thinks, is the most likely opponent to replace Rey Mysterio if he can't wrestle against El Grande Americano. Americano, of course, likely needs to win. And obviously, Rey Fenix, you don't want to beat him this early. Another thing I found fascinating is that in the Battle Royal and in the six-man tag, nobody really cares about Chad Gable until he's El Grande Americano. Very interesting, I thought, and kind of telling. We'll see how all this goes. Seth Rollins opened up the show. He sat cross-legged in the middle of the ring to do a pipe bomb. And he's like, stop me when I'm telling lies. He was doing all the Punk lines. He reminded everyone that the Shield came about because CM Punk needed protection. He says he put them together, which is kind of true. As you probably know, Punk wanted Chris Hero, but WWE wanted Roman Reigns. And Seth said he did all the work, but Roman was the chosen one and got all the glory. This whole thing makes me wonder, are we seeing the return of the architect? Are we going to see some sort of new Shield? Obviously, they don't have John Moxley, Dean Ambrose, so they'll need someone else for that spot. I mean, might be a good spot for Jeff Cobb, maybe. He was born in Hawaii, so I guess he's not Tongan or Samoan, but could also fit, I guess, with Tama Tongan Solo. But Tama, he obviously knows from New Japan. So be interesting if Cobb shows up in some form at WrestleMania. Carmelo Hayes won the Andre the Giant Battle Royal, eliminated Andrade at the end. Do you remember Andrade? You know, even though he hasn't been featured in weeks, he's not being benched. And with Rusev and Aleister Black and Jeff Cobb reportedly coming in, I wouldn't want to be Andrade right now. Grass is not always greener. Phoenix was eliminated second to last, thanks to interference from El Grande Americano. Chad Gable is in the Battle Royal with his mask. And like I said, nobody cared. Fascinating. There's a video they showed of smoke rising and the date for next week, 4/25/25, being shown. Speculation is that the returning Aleister Black, who left AEW earlier this year, will make his debut on SmackDown. Randy Orton came out to the ring. He's got an open challenge for night 2 of WrestleMania. In the Observer, Dave thinks could be Solo. I think Rusev would get a much bigger pop. One thing, though, in this week's Observer, it says that it will not be Jeff Cobb, which to me makes a lot of sense, but who knows? They tape sit-down interviews separately with Charlotte and Tiffany. Charlotte says they've put whatever issue they had in the past, which seems kind of weird because that's really the only thing that people care about. And Tiffany said Charlotte tried to mess with her. She gave Charlotte what she deserved. And at WrestleMania, she'll come out the winner again. The Motor City Machine Guns went to a no contest with the Street Profits, thanks to outside interference from DIY, who grabbed the belts and ran away. Next week, Nick Aldist told all 3 teams backstage he's hanging the belts above the ring, and it's going to be a TLC match for the titles with all 3 teams. I had a friend who was in the crowd in Las Vegas last night. He said the crowd did not care about the teams, which unfortunately, sadly, makes sense. You know, WWE has taught fans for over 20 years that tag teams do not matter. Cody Rhodes and John Cena then, the main event, they went face to face. They said a lot of the same stuff. The only thing interesting was Cody said after 20 years, John Cena still can't wrestle. Another thing that was interesting, people talk about John Cena turned heel. Oh, it's a huge deal. It's a huge deal. And aside from ratings not really being on fire, but the crowd cheered Cena a lot. And Cody got kind of a mixed reaction. Cena went for the AA. Cody escaped, hit the crossroads, left Cena laying, walked out of the ring. That was it. That was it. All that build-up, this huge turn, that's it. John Cena, fans at the time said, the greatest heel turn in the history of ever. And that was it. Now, I'm not going to go on a limb and say WrestleMania the build has been bad. It hasn't been bad, but it's just been so basic and uninspired. It's not bad, it's just not memorable. There's nothing new here. Triple H is mad at the fans. At least that's what he said in an interview. And you know, the fact that WWE made a bunch of new fans in 2020, I think they're seeing the effect of that. We'll talk about that and the Hall of Fame and more next. Stand by. Jim Valley, Wrestling Observer Live.
You're clear.
Special alert for consumers struggling to pay taxes. There are new tax regulations, not published yet. We have the inside track on your new tax savings. These programs are designed to help struggling taxpayers like you. The COVID relief programs are gone, but there are new programs to help struggling taxpayers, and we have the inside track. Call now and we'll take you through these new programs. These taxpayer savings programs have never been available until now. Get out of tax trouble now. It doesn't take weeks. It can happen in one phone call. Call now and get the inside track to get rid of your tax problems.
Call the tax helpline now. 800-949-0039. 800-949-0039. 800-949-0039. That's 800-949-0039. Do you need to sell your home? If you've sold a home before, you remember how stressful and expensive it was. Sold.com is here to help you sell your home for the most money and with the least amount of stress. There are new ways to sell your home that you've never heard of before. Did you know there are companies who will offer you cash for your home? Did you know you could trade in your home for a new one? Did you know there are realtors who'll sell your home for a flat fee instead of an expensive commission? It's true. Sold.com services are free. So if you're looking to sell, make this free phone call right now and learn how your next home sale can be faster and easier than you ever thought possible. Pick up your cell phone and call right now. 800-251-7816. 800-251-7816. 800-251-7816. That's 800-251-7816.
I'm holding in my hand the American Silver Eagle dollar. It's a beautiful piece of American history, and it's 1 ounce of silver. Originally minted in 1986, these coins are a beautiful classic piece of American history, and they're a great investment you should add to your portfolio. The beauty of silver is that however much you have available to invest, silver is affordable and easy to acquire, with one coin costing around $30. So, if you choose to invest a few thousand in silver, you can get quite a bit for your money. And you'll have a tangible asset that you can hold, one you can be proud to own. Claim your piece of American history with American Silver Eagle dollars. Call the Silver Hotline right now.
800-620-1624. 800-620-1624. 800-620-1624. That's 800-620-1624.
You are listening to Wrestling Observer Live on the Sports Byline Broadcasting Network.
Jim Valley, Wrestling Observer Live. Got another spoiler from NXT, Stand and Deliver, happening right now. Ricky Saints defeated Ethan Page to retain the NXT North American Championship with the Rochambeau. So that's what's going on with NXT Stand and Deliver right now. My gosh, what a schedule to keep for WrestleMania weekend with NXT in the morning and SmackDown last night. Hall of Fame. Wow, that is a heck of a schedule. Yes, I am doing my Johnny Ace impression. except my door is open. I don't have a locked door. That's really the biggest difference. Anyway, Triple H talked about in an interview how fans just need to enjoy the show, and he hates the word like pivot and things like that. The fact that WWE was good enough and able to, use the Terror Dome or whatever they called it, whatever it was, where they had the fans on screens watching wrestling in 2020 during COVID. And WWE had the benefit of these new fans and very easy crowds for a number of years now. And good for them. And I'm not knocking new fans. They're the lifeblood of the industry. You need new fans to constantly cycle in. And WWE is often the gateway drug to becoming lifelong fans, discovering Japanese wrestling or GCW or Defy or AEW or TNA or what have you. So that's great and good for them. And they have benefited greatly from that. Fantastic. More power to them that they did that. But these fans now have been around for 5 years and they've seen some stuff. They're not quite as easy anymore. And you have to grow with your audience. And rather than bitching, this is the time for Paul Levesque to step up. Grow with your audience. You know what they've seen. Give them things they haven't seen. Be more creative. Someone says in the chat, Triple Paul, we're trying to enjoy the show. You are making it difficult. And that's the thing. You can't just give the fans the same old stuff. I mean, for me, I've watched a lot of wrestling. And I remember when I was a kid, like for example, I remember reading in the magazines when Dusty did the Yellow Dog with Barry Windham in Florida. Fast forward 7-8 years, whatever it was. Dusty's booking. There's Brian Pillman as the Yellow Dog. You see these things recycled. And it's like, you gotta give fans something new. Otherwise, they're gonna go, I've seen it. Kickoff to the road to Dontaku last night at Gorkin Hall before about 1,500 fans. As you know, Jeff Cobb, coming to WWE, had to leave this weekend, so people are wondering, when does he show up? It seems sooner rather than later. So last night, Tanahashi beat Jeff Cobb in his last New Japan match. Jeff Cobb thanked everybody and thanked the fans. All of that. As you also probably know, Naito and Bushi could not come to terms with New Japan. So last night, they did a 10-man elimination tag team match. Los Ingobernables de Ipan, Bushi, Takahashi, Naito, Shingo Takagi, and Yodatsuchi defeated Taka Michinoku, Yoshihashi, Taichi, Shota Umino, and Yuya Uemura. It was Taichi and Naito as the last people. And Naito eliminated Taichi over the top rope. And, this is going to be their last tour. They're both departing New Japan after the Wrestling Dontaku tour wraps up on May the 4th. So following the show, both addressed the crowd. Bushi said a lot of thought went into his decision. And for his remaining dates, he'll continue coming to the ring with utter gratitude. Naito briefly spoke about their pending exits before doing the signature LIJ sign-off. They all put their fists up in the ring and connected them simultaneously. And Naito said it's probably his last Gorgon Hall show as a New Japan contracted wrestler. And then Hiromu Takahashi chimed in and said it's a difficult situation. And then the global heavyweight champion, Yoda said that it's going to be up to the new generation of New Japan talents to lead the company into the future. And that's the thing. You've got to understand that with New Japan, hang on one second. With New Japan, they take their time. They don't rush a lot of things. They do long-term storytelling. They do long-term grooming of talent. And so, while things are down, I don't think they're really going to rush things, but we shall see. Someone in the chat says Noah should look into. Noah should be looking into bringing in Naito to feud with Ozawa. I just hope that Naito gets some rest and recoups for a while. That's really what I hope for, because it's just, he's in such bad shape. He didn't look great last night. So I hope whatever he does first, he takes care of himself. WWE Hall of Fame last night started at 10 p.m. local time in Las Vegas. 1 a.m. on the East Coast. Brutal. Like Dallas Page did a great job inducting Lex Luger. Luger stood up from his wheelchair. Luger said he was going to work further, but said he took a bump getting out of the car at the airport before his flight. Talked about going from the penthouse to the jailhouse, to living in a hotel. He gave credit to Pastor Steve, who brought him to Jesus in jail. He said that he didn't understand or appreciate wrestling fans till Pastor Steve talked him into going into Walmart. Boy, that helped my self-esteem. I'll tell you that. Undertaker introduced his wife, Michelle McCool. Did a fine job. Michelle, she went a little long. Natural disasters did not get an induction. Fred Ottman came out with John Tenta's family, and his family was very brief but very sweet. Bret Hart and Steve Austin, exactly what you'd expect. Trophy they got, though, was nightmare fuel. It was one half of each of their heads, connected around the neck, but separated at the top. It looked like Michael Myers took an axe to them. It was like, oh my gosh. It was... Shawn Michaels, he introduced Triple H. Little rambling, but that's kind of what Shawn does. Triple H went on for an hour after he opened up with a joke about a Mr. T and other speeches that went long. And there are pictures floating around of Booker T, Bailey, and Jey Uso falling asleep. And look, it's a very busy week I can't blame them. And Mr. Warren Hayes on Blue Sky had a great point. I wish I would have thought of this. Mr. Warren Hayes said, my theory is that someone must have written
IRS, this isn't.
Must have written Paul Levesque's speech and surprised him with it. Because no way this guy who shies away from the spotlight and didn't want to be inducted would go on for an hour, right? Oh, by the way, Triple H loves Vince. So does John Cena. What happened? Did Chris LeGentle fall asleep? Anyway, we'll talk about Love and Vince next. Jim Valley, Wrestling Observer Live.
This is an urgent message. The IRS is cracking down by sending out collection letters, garnishing paychecks, seizing bank accounts, and putting liens on homes and businesses. They call it enforced compliance. And you better watch out because penalties and interest on unpaid taxes compound daily, making it even harder to get out of debt. Don't let tax debt destroy your life. You need to call Optima Tax Relief, America's #1 tax resolution firm. They're experts in taxpayer assistance programs that can save you thousands if you qualify. A+ rated by the Better Business Bureau, Optima's resolved over $1 billion of tax debt for their clients. Let them fight on your behalf, helping to put your tax problems to rest. Call the tax professionals at Optima now for a free consultation.
Call 800-833-0733. 800-833-0733. 800-833-0733.
Optima Tax Relief.
Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
Keep listening for a free virus protection offer. Protect your computer from crashing and online scams. According to national research, 1/3 of all computers are infected with some sort of computer malware. And 1/3 of you have been a victim of online fraud. Protect yourself now with My Computer Works. We're an 18-year-old U.S.-based company with a 4.8 Google rating. We've helped your neighbors protect their computers for almost 20 years. And now you too can be protected for less than $1 a day. Get your total PC home support right now. Call our U.S.-based specialist right now and learn about our free offer. And remember, if we can't help you, our services cost you nothing. So call right now.
800-352-7618. 800-352-7618. 800-352-7618. That's 800-352-7618.
Has someone in your family lost a job recently and now you can't afford your mortgage payment? Or do you have a rental property and your tenants aren't paying you? Quick Cash Offer can come to the rescue and pay you cash for your home immediately. Yes, sell your home and get cash all over the phone without dealing with real estate agents and risking your safety by showing your home to lukewarm buyers. You don't need to lose your home to foreclosure. If you have any equity in your home, we will buy it and give you cash within days, all in a simple over-the-phone and virtual process. Call Quick Cash Offer now before the economy gets worse. Sell a home you can't afford or just don't want to get the cash you need today.
800-788-1495. 800-788-1495. 800-788-1495. That's 800-788-1495.
Sports Overnight America from Phoenix with Jeff Rich.
It's Jim Valley. It's Wrestling Observer Live. I forgot to mention SmackDown. They announced that Cardi B is going to host the first ever two-night SummerSlam in New York and New Jersey. And I'm like, two-night SummerSlam. It is here. Oh my word, but Cardi B, big star. That's a very impressive kid. But enough about Cardi B. We need to talk about how love is in the Everybody loves Vince. Triple H loves Vince. He said so last night. The WWE Hall of Fame said the relationship's complicated. So, as we know, that makes it okay. John Cena did an interview. Was with the New York Times. It was somebody big. And he said he unapologetically loves Vince. Now look, I get it. Triple H, John Cena are both multi-millionaires because of Vince. Triple H is his son-in-law, I think. You know, I get it. You support the guy in private, and it is entirely possible because they're so close to Vince. They think the whole Janelle Grant thing is BS. Okay? It's entirely possible. I just don't know that you should say it. Hey, look, there's somebody in the chat who says it won't matter to wrestling fans in the slightest. And they've got a point. They really do have a point that it probably won't matter that much. I mean, seriously, there it is. Yeah. WWE fans don't care about, maybe they're talking about love and Trump. But either way, I don't know that WWE fans will care that much. But still, it's like, I don't know. You know, WWE is on a roll. But at some point, that roll is going to end. And things like this can matter. It's like, it doesn't matter when you're on top. When things start going down, they can matter. Yes, sounds like a Who Loves Vince more tournament is in the cards for the fans title. But I also wonder, my feeling is that they know something, or they are under the impression that something is coming, or something is going to change. I wonder, yeah, someone's asking, does that mean Vince makes a comeback? We shall see. A lot of people talking this week about Mariah May. Mariah May has totally told AEW, Tony Khan, according to reports in the Observer, she does not want to negotiate a new deal. And since she lost to Toni Storm in that excellent match, she hasn't been on TV. I swear to God, we just went through this with Ricky Stark / Ricky Saints. In the old days, on your way out of a territory, you did the honors. But it's a different time now. People, for the most part, particularly fans of AEW, are very plugged in. They know Mariah May's leaving. And beating Mariah May, because people know what? What does it mean if Thunder Rosa beats Mariah May, or Toni Storm beats Mariah May again, or anybody, Queen Amanada, take your pick. Mercedes Moné, Harley Cameron. It doesn't make a difference because fans know she's leaving. And here's the other thing. TV time is valuable. TV time is money. People pay, sponsors pay to have commercials, to support AEW. AEW's got that big television deal. You know, what is it? 180 million, something like that, a year. TV time, WWE and AEW is valuable. It's a commercial for talent. And if Mariah May is leaving, there's no need to put her on TV. And think about this. How do you think talent will feel backstage if you're Chris Statlander or Thunder Rosa or whomever? And there's Mariah May. Yeah, she's losing, but she's getting TV time that you're not. I agree with Tony Khan. I think TV time, coffee is for closers, and TV time is for people who are going to stay, and you want to invest in. Hey, I have a question. Psycho Fox, I know you're international. Anybody else who's not from the U.S.? I know the U.S. is being boycotted by Canadians and other countries. Do you see WWE as an American product? And do you think it will be boycotted by international fans? Or do you think wrestling fans like the wrestling and it doesn't matter? I'm just curious. See what people say in the chat. I don't have an opinion. I don't know. And that's why I'm asking. So I'm not saying, oh, WWE's going to be boycotted, because I don't know. It could be either way in my mind. So, just a thought. I'm just curious. And again, I don't have an opinion. I want to know what people think. Something I thought was weird. Nick Khan, WWE president. Have you seen the WrestleMania 9 documentary on Peacock? It's kind of fun. They talk a lot about production. They give that WrestleMania too much credit. It's very pedestrian WrestleMania. But toward the end of the documentary, they show a young Nick Khan walking by behind Howard Finkel. Nick Khan, who was an usher at WrestleMania 9. And they show it to a bunch of people. They're talking heads. Colin Cowherd, and a bunch of other people. Except they never talk to Nick Khan about it. Thought that was odd. WWE can't get a little fluff piece interview with its own president about a little funny story, how he was an usher at WrestleMania 9. Thought that was odd. Thought that was weird. I don't know. I just thought, why can't he talk? People think that, by the way, people in the chat go. Someone says, depends on how tight the company gets with Trump and how his direct actions harm individual countries. Interesting. Someone says, it is an American product, and how they do more international shows is commendable. We shall see. I don't know. I was just curious. Like I said, Fox goes, some will boycott, but they're diehard WWE fans in the UK. Never will. Yeah. That's kind of what I figured. It's kind of something like that will happen. Also, Nick Khan, was on Bill Simmons. And he said how WWE never benches talent. Okay. Andrade says hi. And that competition is good because he thinks many wrestlers in the other company will work for WWE someday. And that's probably true. I mean, like Stephanie Fakir and Mariah May and others. You grow up watching WWE. It's like Disney. You have these Disney adults now, and they go to Disney World because they grew up with it, and that childhood connection is very, very strong. You know, and they have dreams of being John Cena or The Rock or Jeff Hardy, and being that next level superstar. Not everybody. I know Brian's talked about it, how Nick Wayne wanted to be in AEW because he doesn't see himself as fitting WWE. And I'm sure there are some people who feel that way. But I do think that a lot of people grow up and want to be in WWE, where they see it as the top. But other people go, look, I can make big money in another company, and I have maybe a little bit more freedom. Then he says how he respects Shad Khan bankrolling the company for his son. Something to that effect. And look, that is a dog whistle. That is a dog whistle to WWE fans to pick up on that and pick up that as a narrative. Earlier this week, I was on Reddit, and someone was repeating the WWE mantra that wrestling was nothing until Vince came along. And I corrected him on some things. They recognized my name and goes, oh, that's just according to Meltzer, so that's, of course, BS, Meltzer lies all the time. And I was like, look, if you don't like Dave, that's your prerogative. You can talk to other independent historians, Evan Ginsberg, or Keith Elliott Greenberg, even Cornette, Jim Cornette. Pick somebody. But look, it's important now more than ever that we need to keep the real history of wrestling alive. Yes, Vince did many great things, but he's not all that. Stand by, Chip Valley. Wrestling Observer Live.
Drop a load on him.
You're clear.
Attention, fellow conservative investors. What does the name Reagan mean to you? It stands for being the ultimate conservative. It also stands for the Reagan Gold Group. Do you see storm clouds approaching? The stock market hates uncertainty, and there are plenty of reasons to be concerned. High inflation, unstable debt, and economic uncertainty are just a few. You have car insurance, homeowners insurance, and life insurance. But do you have insurance for your retirement savings and your 401k? We urge all fellow conservative investors to learn about the one asset that could help ensure your nest egg doesn't crack under economic pressure. GOLD, gold. Call the one name any conservative investor needs to know about. Reagan Gold Group.
800-360-1917. 800-360-1917. 800-360-1917. That's 800-360-1917.
Everyone watches more than 5 hours of television. Really? And that's not counting mobile viewing. Get Dish TV and make that time worth it. With Dish, you can get hundreds of channels, access to all kinds of sports, tons of movies, premium channels, and more. Another thing that's really cool with Dish is you can watch most of your favorite shows on your mobile device anywhere for a lot less than cable. Yes, that's right. We are asking you to watch more TV and not less TV, but make it better television with Dish this time, anytime, anywhere. So call right now and learn how easy it is to save on your television bill and get the most out of your TV viewing experience. Dial that number and I promise you we're here waiting for your call because we want to save you money and give you better television. We are Dish TV.
800-293-0328. 800-293-0328. 800-293-0328. That's 800-293-0328. Hey, airline travelers, let's say you have a problem and you need to change or cancel an existing airline reservation. What do? Well, Skywatch is a free service that can help anyone with any airline reservation fix it. Whether you want to cancel it, change your dates, or add passengers, we can help fix your airline reservations so you get exactly what you need. We've updated our computer database and now have access to every airline around the globe. So now you can make one phone call, regardless of who booked your airline tickets, and we'll change it, cancel it, and fix it for you. We know the insider secrets to fixing reservations that the airlines don't want you to know about. So if you need to cancel, change, or modify an existing airline reservation, call Skywatch right now. It's a free call, so let us fix it for you. 855-325-5647. 855-325-5647. 855-325-5647. That's 855-325-5647.
You are listening to Wrestling Observer Live on the Sports Byline Broadcasting Network.
Jim Valley, Wrestling Observer Live. NXT Stand and Deliver. Happening right now. Another quick spoiler. We have new tag team champions. Hank and Tank defeated Phyraxium. They hit their finish, that spear power slam combo. So, on Frazier. So, there you go. New NXT tag team champions. Some of the chat mentioned how Ospreay grew up watching TNA. That's true. He's a big fan of Amazing Red and AJ Styles. Wrestlemania tonight, night one. Got the main event. Reigns versus Punk versus Seth Rollins, of course. Paul Heyman is the big question mark in the equation. World Heavyweight Championship. Gunther defends against Jey Uso. I believe they open up the show. Women's Champion Tiffany Stratton defends against Charlotte Flair. United States Champion Knight defends against Jacob Fatu. World Tag Team Champions War Raiders defend against The New Day. Naomi versus Jade. And question mark Rey Mysterio versus Il Grande Americano. Maybe somebody else in that spot. We shall see. Enjoy your WrestleMania. Have a great time. And I think we'll talk to you next week. It's been an A1 show. So thank you for that.
A1.
Talk to you next week. Jim Valley, Wrestling Observer. All right, kids. Thank you, man. Good show. Appreciate it.
Enjoy. Have a good weekend.
Yeah, man.
Talk to you next week.
You too. Bye.
Bye, man.
All right. There's that. Hang on one second, guys. There's that. Close that. Stop this. And all right. There. I'm just gonna hit save as. All right. Let's do that for now. Okay. Let's do that for now. Sure. Why not? Yeah. Okay. Good enough. All right. Do you guys want to go into overtime? Someone's talking about Mariah May being overrated. I disagree with you. I could not disagree with you more. Oh, by the way, I'm buying New Japan Pro Wrestling. I guess you can see here because I've got the shirt and I've got, there we go, I got that too. So there you go. Right? He does have a chill voice. He has a very chill voice. That's funny. Yeah. What was I going to say? I think Mariah May's great. You know, Toni Storm is such a dynamic character. She does funny lines and everything. But Mariah May's a great, very serious promo. And yes, she may not get the funny lines and the tramp who's a champ and all of that stuff. Oh, thank you. Let's see, do I still have that? I got it somewhere. Let's see what I don't know. It's somewhere. Yeah. Anyway. Thanks. Anyway, I think Mariah's great. You know, I've said before, I would choose Mariah over Tiffany Stratton. And Tiffany Stratton's great. No disrespect. I just think Mariah's a better wrestler. I think she's a more well-rounded performer. I think she's, Tiffany still has to iron out some things. But I think she'll get there. And I also think, they're both lovely young women. And look, I'm an ugly old guy, so I'm not, but it's a telegenic business. I think, personally, Mariah May is prettier than Tiffany Stratton. Now, that's my opinion. Different strokes for different folks, but I just wonder if Mariah goes to WWE, will she be seen as the new hot thing, or will she be seen as the imitation? Tiffany's our girl, and you are encroaching on our girl. I wonder. I don't know. I just wonder. Wonder. There's something else. Oh, yeah. Oh, by the way, new listener, Melissa Cronenwetter. So welcome, Melissa. Thank you for being a new member. I appreciate it. Hope I didn't scare you away. Anyway, yeah. I think she can. I think she can. Yeah. But it's gonna be curious, How does the WWE universe perceive Mariah? Or do they just put her on Raw and not worry about it? I don't know. We shall see. I don't know. There's something else. There was something else. Yeah, just bring crypto scam to that. Yeah, start charging 10 grand for a PNG Brooklyn Brawler. It's unique. It's totally unique. Yeah. Oh, goodness gracious. Yeah. There's soccer along with hockey playoffs and Mania. I need more TVs. Yeah. I mean, if you're talking about ROH, they kind of have heavy talent. But I mean, for example, Gates of Agony looked great, I thought, against Hurt Syndicate this week. And I liked that they had very distinct gear. Kind of like I said with Mariah May in AEW. You don't want her to look like Tiffany Stratton. You don't want people to go, oh, she's a second-rate Tiffany Stratton. That's why I was like, when Tiffany was all in pink, I was like, Mariah should not wear pink because she's just going to invite that criticism. And people were all up in my business, and I'm like, I'm right. But I like the fact Gates of Agony came out in very distinct gear. Because, I don't. And look, as we've talked about this before, as individuals, they're individual people, and you don't judge people like that. You treat them as individuals. But on TV, it's like you don't want people to go, oh, they're the new, family. They're the new, tribal chiefs or whatever. You don't want to invite that comparison because fans do that. You just gotta watch out for stuff like that. I think you gotta be careful when you're the secondary brand to not look like you're copying someone. That's what I think. Yeah, I agree. I mean, look, she does some spectacular stuff. Right. Yeah, Buddy. Oh, God. Don't get me started on Buddy Landell. Look. Him being a nature boy is a bad idea. That was a bad idea. You're in the same company as Ric Flair. You're not nearly as good. You have one robe where Rick has dozens. It was just, not a fan. Yeah, that could happen. Oh, dude. There's some. Do you want to mention Dynamite? When MJF brought out the women, and certainly he was implying, didn't say it, but he's implying that they're prostitutes. And that just felt like a segment from 1998, or Godfather or whomever, and it was just like. Plus, there's the stereotype with anyway. I'm not saying it's something to go to war over or be mad about. It's just like sometimes people make mistakes, and that I felt was a mistake, and I was just like. And look, if you're not mad about it, that's fine. I'm not furious or anything like that. I just was kind of like Marge Simpson. What's Mariah J doing in the Raw zone? That's funny. Yeah, I don't know. I think it's cool that AEW is going to Arena Mexico. And I don't know. Maybe I might go. I haven't been to Arena Mexico in a few years. And I was like, so I'm thinking about going. So that's what I'm thinking about. My wife and I'll talk about it next week, so I may go down there. But then I'm like, it's also Fantasticamania. So I'm like, well, maybe we'll stay till Friday and go see some Fantasticamania. But God, you gotta go to Arena Mexico if you can. Go to Arena Mexico. It's amazing. It's so fun. I mean, you've got these tourists who are there, and they're having a great time. Plus, you got all the regulars who are having a great time. And it's funny because there are no concessions. You don't go to a concession booth. First, okay, bring extra cash. Bring money to tip. Okay? Because they take you to your seat. Because look, unless you've been there, there is no effing way you can find your seat. That's true. So they'll take you to your seat. You got to tip that person who takes you to your seat. Then, at the end of every row is a plastic bottle container. And people order beers and they're brought to them. You drink your beer. Then you pass it down, and they put it in the containers at the end of the row. And when they get full, someone comes, picks it up, replaces it. It's funny as hell. I don't know what happened to Hook. I have not heard. I'm sorry. I should have looked that up. There was so much stuff to cover. And I'm just like, it's just so much stuff, too much stuff. So I apologize. I do not know. Maybe Dave and Brian will know tonight, I guess, on Wrestling Observer Radio. I don't know, though. I'm sorry. That was quite a dynamite. That was quite a dynamite. Yeah. Yeah, I agree. I think someone said, look. I grew up and saw Nitro and all of these things and all that stuff. And to me, it looks fine. But I'm not 18 years old. So I don't know. I mean, does it need to have all the graphics and all the 3D models and all of that and the big, huge screens and all that stuff? I mean, I don't know. To me, it doesn't. But that's what I know. I know I look great. It's all that good, clean living. Yeah, Crash TV make a good point. He says, last call for action figures and merch before the tariffs hit. Going on about. So, I didn't have time this week, but I was going to have someone on who deals with action figures. I think I mentioned them last week as part of their business. And it's not Cardona or those guys, but it's somebody else. And he says he's willing to come on and talk about it. So maybe we'll try for next week. But basically, he said that the tariffs, if implemented and maintained, will put every toy company that's not like Hasbro and Mattel out of business. You know, so many boutique, toy companies, do, very niche stuff, whether it's old TV shows or monsters or repros of old styles of different action figures or movies or what have you. And wrestling. So yeah, now there will be, it's not going to stop. WWE figures will be produced, but maybe some smaller stuff that you see that might make it tough, Prices go up on, a Bruiser Brody figure or Abdullah the Butcher or, I've got this, this Gary Von Erich fiction figure I bought a little while ago, something like this. Those smaller companies that do these things. That's who it's really going to affect. So, but fingers crossed, maybe he'll stop. Yeah, jeez. Yeah, Takeshita. I don't know, put him in New Japan, make him the New Japan the IWGP champion. God, that'd be something, but I don't know what he can do. Japan is so weird right now. Japan is so weird. Yes, the Texas tornado. Yeah, it was a great show. I mean, dude, AEW has been on fire. And it feels like we've gotten past the wave of shills. And they're at the peak of their influence. But with these really good shows and outstanding wrestlers, it really feels like AEW has made it through whatever it was in. You know what I'm saying? So that's what I think. Yeah. Someone says, yeah. Even secondhand trade of consumer products will be affected. Yeah. Yep. Exactly. Hey, I'm a below average Joe. Thank you very much. Do I think LIJ is going to break up? As I was watching Road to Dontaku this morning, you know how much shit I had to cram in today? I had SmackDown. I had the Hall of Fame. I had Road to Dontaku. I had so much stuff. This show is so hard to do. It is really, because it's on early. So it's like, I also got to get sleep. I also need a couple hours to prepare the show. I need, it's just, I don't just flip the mic and start talking. I've got a plan, and that takes time. Anyway, do I think LHA is going to break up? As I was watching it, I was like, can there be an LIJ without Naito? I mean, your Los Ingobernables, Dehipan. I was trying to think, you need that connection to Japan. I don't know. I mean, you've got a lot of top guys still in LIJ, but is it still really LIJ without kind of a connection? Someone who worked, in Japan, or in Mexico, sorry. It still sells merch. They talked it to the, oh, that's very sweet of you, MD. I really appreciate it. Thank you. I appreciate it because it's so nice to, I feel bad because of my voice. I just want it to get better. I hate it. Anyway. So thank you. I really do appreciate that. More than you know. I do not have any Midnight Express action figures. I don't have very many action figures. How many have I bought? Not many. A lot of them get gifted to me. I only have like a handful. I bought Carrie, and I bought Remco Road Warriors because I wanted a Road Warrior figure. And Road Warrior figures are expensive. And it's like, I don't want to spend that much because they don't mean that much to me. If they meant a lot, I would pay more, but they don't mean enough to me. So I was like, I'll just get the Remcos from when I was a kid, and that's good enough. So, yes. How many priest switches? I don't know. It depends on tariffs, and I don't know. We shall see. What was the one about? Hang on, go back up. There we go. Oh, yeah. There's been some WWE booking. I agree. There's been a little too much WWE stuff. I agree. That's one of the things that's hard. Is WWE has shaped wrestling perception, particularly when it really didn't have any competition, when TNA has been struggling for a very long time. So WWE has essentially had the wrestling space mostly all to itself and has educated generations of wrestling fans to this is the right way to do it. And if you watch wrestling, it's not. There are many ways to do angles matches and tell stories and different styles of wrestling. I mean, obviously the WWE style is very digestible, and that's great. But, sort of like I was compared to wine, you want something with more body or more of a nose to it or legs. And, your tastes sort of grow or change. But now WWE is, this is the right way to do it. Or people listen to Bruce Pritchard or Cornette or whatever, and they hear this. This is the right way to do it. Oh my God. Here's a great example. So there's a clip of the famous Bull Nakano leg drop coming off the top of the cage. And of course, she hits the leg drop, bounces, and gets back up. Somebody was like, oh, that ruins everything. She should have sold that. Blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, I think I just, underneath I wrote, have you seen the match? Or just the clip? And of course they didn't respond. But it's like these people. There's more than one way to do it. And, in the context of the match, it's great. But people are just like, there's only one way to do it. Yeah, that's kind of what I said it was. It was bad. Yeah. Yeah, it was very attitude. Yeah, Hurt Syndicate, Hurt Business, whatever. Yeah. Yeah. But yeah, it was very attitude era. Not the end of the world, but just do less of that, please. I didn't really like that. But I'm not going to flip out over it or nothing. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah. Well, I felt like they had to do a lot of promos because they had to start new feuds and all that good stuff. So, yeah. Yep. All right. Yes. Anyway, yeah, there will be yeses. Yep. Yep. All right. Anything else exciting? It's funny to me with WWE. People love the matches. All right, what I'm saying. People love the promos. They love the matches. No, they don't love the matches. I mean, love the promos. Love the entrances. But then when it's time for the big payoff, they're like, meh. I mean, the point of the promo is to build anticipation for the match. But it's like people like the show better than the matches. And I like matches. I've always liked matches. When I was a kid, I was always happy to turn on cable and there's Mid-South. I always liked, Crockett or Georgia or whatever better. I mean, I still watch WWE and I liked it. But it's like, I liked the action. So, yeah. Oh, yeah. Stardom puts on great shows. When Stardom comes to your area, to the U.S., whatever, you get the authentic Stardom experience. And that's what's so great about it. That's what's so great about it. Yeah. Someone's shocked by the Death Riders losing. That was great. Yeah, that was great. It gives people hope. I mean, clearly, we're going to All In and probably some rematch at All Out. And then we'll shuffle from there. That's what's going to happen. So it's April, May, June, July. So you got 3 months, 2.5 months, something like that. So, That's what's going to happen. But no, that was a good thing with the ops and all of that. So no, that was great. I mean, to beat Moxley is a big deal. So I think maybe Joe might begin the title match, which Joe is like cold pizza. You can reheat him time after time after time. So, yeah. 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 Oops. I mean, bright spot for the worst thing in the company. I mean, all those guys are really good. And Moxley has been doing inspired promos. But I mean, I agree with you that the start didn't really start with a bang. And the psychology has been off at times. And I think it affects the perception. And yeah, it has been a lot of the same. And the fact that Moxley has not been having great main events also hurts. So, yeah. Yeah. Right. Yeah. It does suck. Yeah, you're right. It does suck. But I mean, I've talked about that how, there needed to be, these guys are heels. And heels lie. So these guys needed to talk about, I mean, I've talked about this. This Death Riders thing is based on a shoot. Okay? Moxley literally is frustrated with some of the wrestlers, some of the kids, because he feels like they're not stepping up enough. They're not working hard enough. And, they think they're on TV already and they're making money. So I think they're already stars. So he is literally frustrated with that. Literally, in real life. John Good is literally frustrated with that. To what degree, I couldn't say anymore. And I think Pac feels the same way, Claudio. So there's some shoot in there. But because it's a wrestling storyline, they should have been talking about someone who busts his ass. Ospreay, you don't work hard enough, or something like that. Something to that effect. Maybe start with somebody lower. Commander, you're slacking, and then they can beat up Commander, something like that. Because it's a wrestling storyline. So you pick on people who actually are working hard. But it just kind of didn't really started wrong. Yeah. So, but still, Moxley is making this thing work. I think through sheer determination. I think he's just doing it. I think he's just willing it to happen, and so good on him. And Swerve has been great. God, Swerve is great. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, that's a good point. That's another good point. It's sort of morphed, hasn't it? Now it's just for the control of AEW, pretty much. It's kind of pivoted. And I think that's another problem. I think. Yeah, it doesn't look out. Yeah. Oh, it's a top flight. Okay. I haven't heard Top Flight, but I've heard other names. I don't want to get it. I'm not allowed to say. Let's put it that way. If I say, someone's going to be very, very mad at me. So I can't say I'm sorry. But I have heard names of people who are frustrated with individuals, let's say. So I don't know. Yeah, I do. He will try his hardest to make something worth it. Yeah. But yeah, exactly. Yeah, dude has a passion for wrestling. That's why I like Monks. And even though this Death Rider thing isn't my favorite, it doesn't affect my enjoyment of Monks and my respect for him. So it's not like I'm gonna like him any less. So that's kind of my feeling. Yes, you're right. Shaquille O'Neal. And that's why they benched him. That's who Nick Khan was talking about. Will Monet win all the belts? That's a good question. I mean, that's a very good question. I mean, they're already doing something. Well, Megan Bain is sort of still around. So does Monet make it to the finals? And then Megan Bain causes Tony to lose the title. And then she fuses Megan Bain for a while, and then eventually goes back to the title. Can they hold two singles titles in AEW? Has somebody held two singles titles? I'm not aware that they have. Anyway. Yeah. You could see that. Oh, and by the way, who was right about Megan Bain? Dave and Brian were wrong. Love them, but they were wrong. Megan's got it. And losing Mariah May is a big deal. No doubt. But, look, talk about, as I was watching Athena versus Mercedes Moné, it occurred to me that Athena versus Mercedes is a bigger match than Sasha versus Ember Moon. Simply because Athena is a bigger star than Ember Moon ever was. That's kind of my thought. Yeah, exactly. And that's the thing. Everyone's talking about Athena. When is she going to AEW? Get her on TV. Wrestling fans can be so impatient. Look, this big run in ROH made her a bigger star. People were invested in that match. So it'll happen. Don't worry, it'll happen. She'll get on there and she'll be a big star. And so it's not a big deal. Yeah, there's a lot of women that can elevate. And there's other women out there. And why am I not in Vegas? I do need to go one of these days for one of those things. I don't know. I just didn't. One of the reasons is my mother-in-law. she's fine. She's doing great. But she had a little procedure in the hospital. And so I had to stay. I'm up here right now at my house, but we've been helping out down at my in-laws. So I've been down there. So I'm going to stay up here, do the show, feed the cat, and do a couple of things around the house, and then head back down to my in-laws and kind of help them out. My father-in-law was born with some sight issues. So as he's gotten older, it's gotten worse, so he needs a little help. Great guy, very mobile, but, sometimes he needs a little help. So we've been, cooking dinner and stuff like that down there and other things. So, yeah. So that's why. But, it's my mother-in-law, but she's doing great. She's in fantastic condition. She's probably in better shape than I am. So, I don't know. I may go down to Arena Mexico for AEW Dynamite. So, when I saw that, I was like, maybe I need to go. Maybe I need to go. So, we shall see what happens if I go to, go to that. Hang on a second, I'm looking some up. Messages. Nope. Okay. No big deal. Oh my God. Oh, Jesus Christ. I guess during the Ricky Starks match, there was a big Tony fumbled chant. Tony did not fumble. Look, I wish Ricky Starks the best, but he was very, very inconsistent in AEW for whatever reason. That's a good question. Do I agree with Dave about AEW missing the boat on Harley after a match with Monet and now jobbing and Harley Graham? I think they're doing Harley Graham all wrong. Yeah, Dave was 100% right about marketing the puppet. Yeah, I don't know. The puppet is over and they're going back to the puppet. Yeah, it felt like they didn't really have a plan for Harley after she lost to Mercedes. Here's what I'm going to say. That is a tough one. On one hand, Harley is super entertaining and funny and the puppet and very creative with what she does. On the other hand, she's not the most experienced wrestler. And it's like, can you put a title on that? I mean, I guess if you put her in with people who can help her, you could do that, But I don't know. I mean, that's a hard one. And it felt like it took too long to put Mercedes and Harley together. They should have been doing things together since the end. Yeah. But look, Harley is very talented. And look, she has not had a lot of matches. She is way above where she should be, given her limited ring time. So that's very impressive. She is obviously a very fast learner, and she's over, and she will keep getting better. I have no doubt of that. I think she'll be fine. I think she'll be fine. I wish that Harley Graham is too in the background for Hologram, and I just feel like I don't think Hologram needs it. And they need a title for Hologram. A cruiserweight title, a lucha title, something. They need a title for hologram. I know they have too many titles. Blah, 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 blah. And look, for the 80s, they do have too many titles. But now we live in this age of excess. We have too much food. We have 1 million cruise ships. We have, everything is excessive. Everything. So it's like, I don't think having extra titles is this huge sin that everyone else does. It's like, this is just the time we're in. That's what I think. I don't know. Yeah, but make women's tag team titles. Why not? And people are bitching about ROH adding a women's pure title. Why not? It's just ROH. It's a subscription. I mean, why not? Why not? I don't see that is that big a deal. Everyone's like, too many titles. I'm like, we've gone so past that. And, look, I'm not saying it's good or bad, but we have gone past that. That stuff. There's too much of everything. There's extra weeks now in the football season and the basketball season and hockey season, and there's this and there's that. And there's just too much of everything. There's too much communication. There's too many streaming services. There's 5 movies out every week now, even in slow times. There used to be, it's like saying, when I was a kid, we had Star Wars in the theater for 9 months straight, and that's how we liked it. Yeah, I saw it 1 million times, but it's not back then anymore. Come into the future. Come into the present. It's not that big a deal. I'm sorry, but it's not. Oh, the titles mean something. Look, everyone's in on the gig. The titles mean something in the sense that they tell fans who's getting pushed or in charge or whatever. But other than that, it's not like everyone knows titles aren't real. They're just a device. And there's nothing wrong with that. So, yeah. Yeah, she does mean some more. And look, she's great. And I think she's going to keep going. So, yeah. She is. She will get there. Absolutely, she will. She will get there. I don't know. I just feel like here's what I think. Hologram can't just keep beating the same people over and over again for no reason. I love seeing him against Beast Mordros, but it's getting to be the best out of 17 series matches. So I just think he needs, they're not going to put the TNT title on him, but give him the AEW Lucha title or the AEW Cruiserweight title or whatever you want to call it. The high speed title, the Marigold has the Superfly title. Don't call it that. Not in the United States. But yeah, so I just feel like he does need that. Yes, that's what I think. Okay, look. Scott Hall was very talented. Very, very talented. But he also ate a lot of pins. And it's like, I think he challenged for the world title once, and I just don't think, look, was he skill-wise at that level? Yes. I think from a fan's perspective, because he took so many pins, they didn't see him as the world champion. That's my opinion on that. So, I don't know. Well, isn't the All-Atlantic the international title, didn't they change that name? You mean the TNT title? I don't know. I just think Commander and those guys, I don't know. I mean, right now, I mean, it's the ROH TV title, sort of the high-flying title. Kind of feels like it, but I don't know. Anyway, kids, I should probably... Oh, the Continental title, right. I get it. Yeah, the Continental, right. I thought they were going to do that, maybe. Yeah. Personally, my opinion, because of the Intercontinental title, I don't like the name Continental title. I don't. But that's just my opinion. Because it sounds, again, I think you don't want to sound like WWE. That's my opinion. Anyway, all right. Oh, no big deal. Yeah, but they need, I don't know. They need something. Yeah, that's weird. It's kind of weird. Yeah. Yeah, I agree. All right, kids. Go to enjoy WrestleMania. And I will talk to you next week, I think. I'm pretty sure. Am I here next week? Hang on. Let me check. I'll tell you. I'll tell you next weekend. Am I here? Yeah, I'm here. All right, guys. Thank you. I appreciate you. All right. Have a happy Easter, right? And enjoy WrestleMania. And we'll see you next time. All right, man. Love you guys. Thank you for being here. I appreciate it more than you know. All right. Talk to you later.